As a low-income student facing the many hidden and unexpected costs of a college education, having more than one job on campus is essentially mandatory for me. So I couldn't help but be shocked and frustrated when I learned that as a writer's associate, I would have to undergo an entire semester's worth of job training without financial compensation. So when I read Jim Bach's email that undergraduate workers would no longer be compensated for hosting prospective students, I knew that this was a much larger campus and nationwide problem.
After taking a year-long leave of absence to tend to my mental illness, I returned to my job as a writing associate last fall. My boss, Jill Gladstein, was aware that I was documenting and addressing my limitations in conversation with Dean Liz Derrickson, but repeatedly refused to meet with me and discuss how I should manage my health in the workplace, instead intimating that anyone who had to make such a request would be unfit for employment. On December 21st, 2017, I was fired by email for being 10 minutes late to an optional reading week shift. Not only were my health accommodations not respected as per the Americans with Disabilities Act, they were never even fully heard, and I'm not the only one who's been fired in violation of mental health accommodations. But despite appeals to Dean Sakamura, who oversees the writing program, the administration never intervened on our behalf. After a full semester of unpaid job training for the WA program, I lost my most important source of income at Swarthmore. As a second semester senior, I was an unattractive high-rank prospect for similarly paid campus jobs, and despite receiving a Fulbright grant after graduation, I am now struggling with debt.
So last year I was working 3 steady jobs on top of being a paid host, and even with these 3 jobs, I was not making enough money to support myself comfortably. And on top of that, my work schedule clashed with my academic and extracurricular commitments. And as a student on financial aid and someone who took out a lot of expensive student loans, $10 an hour is just not enough to support me. And I shouldn't be working 3 different jobs just to barely get by. I can't afford to face years of crushing student debt after college.
Swarthmore College has underpaid and mistreated undergraduate workers for far too long. We face skyrocketing tuition costs, insurmountable student debt, and stagnant wages, forcing us to navigate Swarthmore College as both its students and its workers.
That Swarthmore College can afford to pay us what we deserve and treat us with respect. Yet time after time, the college has deliberately chosen not to do so.
By building a union, we are building the power to represent ourselves. Together, we can fight and win increased wages and an independent body to review workplace grievances.
With the union, all undergraduate workers will be protected from labor exploitation and will be able to assert their right to be paid and treated fairly.
Beginning September 10th, we launch our unionization drive to build a democratic union for all undergraduate workers at Swarthmore. As President Trump ramps up his attacks on organized labor, the country is watching. Will Swarthmore continue to underpay and disempower its undergraduate workers, or live up to the progressive tradition it claims?
Until then.
And until then.
Until then.
Until then.
Until then.
Until then, we will tell Jim Bach and all of Swarthmore College's bosses loud and clear.
We are building UUWS.
And we won't.
And we won't.
And we will not.
And we won't.
And we won't work for free.
Work for free.
Work for free.
Work for free.
And we won't work for free.